Hi, my name is Jack, and I wanted to take a few minutes and just show you a homemade rock tumbler I made. Like many out there, it seems you're not real happy with the Harbor Freight rock tumblers. I have two, and they kept breaking belts no matter what I did. And I sent for belts that were the original flat belt, and then I found some that looked like an O-ring, and those worked a little bit better, but they still broke. So I decided to build my own, and here's what I came up with. I got a quarter inch shaft, quarter horsepower condenser motor. Got that on eBay, I think for around 50 bucks. They recommended, since it's made for a condenser unit, that you have air constantly flowing over it. So I ordered a plastic fan, and I'll show you when I open up the door, from Amazon, that fit right over the shaft, and it moves air then over the motor. I'll stop it so you can take a look at it. It's just a plastic fan, I think $8 on Amazon. It just pops right over the shaft and provides movement over the motor. I used 1/2 inch rod, and I tried vinyl tubing to slide over so it would provide grip. I couldn't get it all the way on. So went to the hardware store, told the guy what I was doing, and he suggested air hose. So I got air hose, as you see here, and it slid right on the tube and provides excellent traction. Also had pillow block bearings, as you can see. Ordered those, I think, on Amazon. Got 8 of them. 2 of them came with the set screws stripped. It wouldn't tighten on the shaft, so I contacted the company. They sent replacement. However, they sent 8 replacements. I only needed 2. Didn't feel right about keeping all of them, so I contacted them, and they sent me a prepaid label to send the 6 back that I didn't need, and I kept the 2, as you see up here, just in case. Also, for the stops on the barrels, I use bifold roller guides. As you can see, a little bit better there. I just drilled a hole in the plywood base there and glued it in, and it provides an excellent stop, and so it doesn't get into the bearing. Let's see what else. Also wired in a switch so I can stop it, turn it on, off. The color I'm not too wild about. I had 4 partial cans of Rust-Oleum, not enough to do the whole unit, so I dumped them all together, and this is what I came up with, kind of a puke purple. So you take what you get. As far as pulleys and speed, I played around with that quite a bit. I've got a 3.5 inch pulleys on the rods, and I believe 10 inch or 10.5 for the big pulley on the motor. I played around with 3 different size pulleys to get the right speed. I tried a 1.5, I think a 2 inch, and then finally the 3 inch I've got on there now gave me the speed I wanted. Here's the interesting fact. On my Harbor Freight one, I could get a good finish on the rocks by tumbling them for 7 days. After 7 days, then they were good to move on to the next step. With this one, after 7 days, they just wouldn't polish, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Then I started counting the RPMs of the Harbor Freight one, and I believe those turned about 47 RPMs. And this one was a bit slower. So I did some figuring, and over the course of a week, the difference between Harbor Freight and this one was, I think, the Harbor Freight turned 60,000 more RPMs per week than my homemade one. So that's why I wasn't getting the finish that I wanted. So that's why I changed pulley to speed it up. Now this one's going about 59 to 60 RPMs a minute, and it's given me actually more RPMs during the course of a week than the Harbor Freight one. So it's doing a good job. It sped up, not enough that the centrifugal force would throw the rocks against the barrel, but I was surprised how much the difference in RPMs really means. Another feature, if I get bigger barrels, then I put a hinge on the top, and you can just leave the lid open and put a bigger barrel on. Now the way I've got set up right now, this will accommodate 6 barrels total. And I also made the door that you can shut, just kind of keeps the pulley hidden, or I guess out of reach, so you don't get your fingers caught in it. Has a latch, and then I just swing the door open, and it's easy to do any repairs or maintenance that you might want to have on it. So I've just been using this a few weeks, and so far I've gotten real good results. I also did drilled some pre-drilled shims that if I have to adjust for the belt, it's easier to put the shims in to go buy new belts and figure out what size you need. So as you can see under the motor, I've got 2 shims. If I need to have the belt tighter, I'll just take one out. And then on this bearing, I put a shim under that to lift the back end up to get it away from the other pulley. So all in all, I'm pretty pleased with it, and it seems to be doing a good job. And I was going to take it out in the garage for the summer, but I think I'll just leave it down here in the basement and do all my tumbling down here. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll be glad to respond. Thanks for watching.